Hey guys, it's Christine, Indigo Healing. I have weekly energy reading for you today. This video is going to be a mini reading, and then what I'm going to do when I'm done with this reading, I'm going to stop the video and I'm going to do an extended reading that I'm going to put up on Vimeo, which will be available for purchase. I'm just trying to, I'm trying some different things. So, I'm seeing what works for me, what doesn't, what works for you, what doesn't. So this is one of the things I'm going to try and see how it goes. That way people who want to get some information can get some information. And then if you see what you like, you're resonating with it, and you want a little more information, you can go over to Vimeo and you can purchase the extended. And if you're satisfied with what you see on YouTube, you can just stick with that. You can, if you're not resonating with it, whatever. So we'll see how this goes. Before I hop into the reading, I do want to talk about a recent transit that might be affecting some of you. We did just have that Uranus transit into Taurus that probably some of you might be feeling. That was on the 15th. We had the new moon in Taurus on the 15th. And then yesterday we had Venus entering Cancer. So with that, and this might not happen for everybody. So take it as it resonates, take it with a grain of salt. I don't want anyone coming back to me saying, you said that my relationship would get better when Venus was in Cancer and it didn't. It might not affect everybody the same way. There's a lot of different things, but just so you're aware of what's going on. When Venus is in Cancer, and it will be in Cancer through June 14th, it can create opportunities for greater intimacy. It can lend a chance to build up your relationship more, build up foundations for relationships more. People who are in relationships that are struggling could see things maybe start to get better or start to see some improvements. Sometimes people who are separated or in separation, they could see, things start to go in a different direction. Family and home can become much more highlighted and much more heightened during this time. Nesting types of activities will be heightened. So nesting, if you ever heard that term, that a lot of women who are pregnant in their last trimester, they will nest. So they'll clean, they'll reorganize, they'll redecorate, getting things ready for the baby. So nesting, people might feel a tendency to want to redecorate a room in their home or buy new furniture or paint or, focus on doing something creative in their home. You may also notice that you may be feeling moody or just more delicate, like emotionally delicate than you normally would, and maybe more sensitive in general. And I can share with you guys that the emotionally delicate and sensitive hit me like a ton of bricks on Friday, the day before the transit. And I have noticed I have a tendency to feel the effects of transits usually a day or two before they actually hit. And I was a sobbing mess on Friday and Thursday night. And for anybody who knows me, I am typically not a sobbing mess. I cry and I like cry when things like upset me, but like I typically am not somebody who cries at commercials, or, you know, my child has a preschool graduation. Like last year was my youngest's preschool graduation. You had all kinds of moms, new moms, old moms, whatever, crying at this preschool graduation. I didn't care. I'm like, yay, go you graduated from preschool. Like, I didn't shed a tear. Like, I'm that kind of person. Like, I care, but I don't get emotional. And I love the show Grey's Anatomy. And I was sobbing through the season finale of that show. And it was not like a typical season finale of that show. People were not dying. Crazy things were not happening. You know, I was sobbing. And then there was information that came out about a medication that could change how my migraine headaches are treated. And, you know, it's really cool. Like, I'm really interested in it, and, you know, it could change some things for me. And I was ridiculously emotional about it all day on Friday. Like, I would talk to somebody about it and I would start bawling. Like, you know, I would start talking to somebody about the Grey's Anatomy episode and I would start bawling. I am not typically that sensitive. So I was definitely feeling the transit that way, in terms of being very sensitive. And the Friday morning, I was very moody. You know, I went downstairs and I'm making my coffee and trying to wake up, and my sweet little 6-year-old was trying to talk to me about something, and I was so moody and cranky, and I had to say, you know what, honey, I'm really sorry. I can't talk to anybody right now. I just can't talk to anybody. And my husband came over and he was trying to talk to me, and I said, I'm not trying to be mean because you haven't done anything, but I can't talk. I can't talk to you. Like, for no reason, I was very moody. So I just wanted to share those examples with you in case anybody's been having experiences like that, because that's a little bit out of the norm for me, to be so extreme with my emotions. You know, my sun sign is a Virgo, and so I'm typically pretty controlled. I mean, I'm all kinds of a hot mess underneath the surface, but typically outwardly I'm very cool, calm, and collected, and I was not at all cool, calm, and collected. So 2 specials that I have going on. I mentioned it in my last reading last week. The 6-month ahead readings, I'm taking pre-orders for those. They will be 6 months, July through December 2018. There is a special pre-order price of $77 through June 1st. After June 1st, they will be $88, and I am only taking a limited number of these readings. So once I hit a certain number of these readings, I'm not going to take any more orders. So if that's something you're interested in, get your order in, send me an email. My information is in the description box below. Even if you have any questions about it, send me an email. If you decide you want to order it, I'll send you an invoice. This reading is an amazing value, especially if you get the order in before June 1st. It's an amazing value. I'm totally going to pat myself on the back for that one. And then I'm offering a special this week. The typical twin flame reading that, you know, if you're not new to my channel, if you've been with me for a while, that, you know, I normally do, that is typically one of my more popular readings, where I have the Divine Feminine cards, the Divine Masculine cards, and the 4 cards in the middle. I'm offering that reading this week, May 20th through the 26th, for $55. Normally it's $65. I think that's what I have it listed for on the on my website. So it's on sale for $55. So if that's something you are interested in, send me an email, and we'll get that started for you, and I'll invoice you for that reading. I do want to note that I'm kind of putting a little twist on that reading. I don't want people to feel like you can only get that reading if you are inquiring about a twin flame. I can do this for any kind of relationship. So if you just have somebody, that is, just a connection that you are wondering about and you're wondering where things are going to go, we can do this same reading for that. So, it's just a relationship reading. It's on sale for $55 only this week through the 26th. So, all my notes. Okay, so the energy for the feminine, and I'm going to point this down so you guys can see the cards. As I'm talking about them. So I was led this week to use, what is this deck? The Keepers of the Light Oracle cards by Kyle Gray. That deck had been kind of speaking to me for a while, and so I was like, you know what, I need to use this deck apparently. So this is the deck. So can you see these? I think you can see these pretty well for the most part. So for the feminine, 2 cards came out. And the cards that came out, we have Mercury, open communication. And then we have the Divine Director, intervention and purpose. As always, take what resonates from the reading and, leave what doesn't. This is a general reading for a lot of people. So, it might not resonate with everyone. That's okay. So with this card, I'm feeling like a lot of the divine feminine, I feel like a lot of you have spoken up recently. If you haven't, you're going to. And you're getting something off your chest, or you got something off your chest that you have been holding back on. Like, maybe you have been holding in your feelings, haven't been, you've been holding back. And I don't necessarily feel like this has been something where you've been holding back how much you care about somebody. Like, I feel like this is more complex. Like, like there's deeper things that you needed to discuss. And I feel like I feel like some of you just kind of let loose because you felt like you weren't being heard. And, you just kind of like, I want you to hear me. And you felt like, you just said what you needed to say. Some of you, I do wonder if, I'm feeling like some of you are wondering if you maybe went too far with it or said too much, or, there's some second guessing, and you can't do that. You had to speak your truth. Like you had something inside of you that had to come out, and you had to do what you had to do. So that's part of the energy that I'm getting for the divine feminine. The other energy that comes up, the divine director, this communication, whatever it was that you needed to get off your chest, this is something that you had to do it. This was, you know, it was, I don't want to say like divine intervention, because I don't feel like it was like that special, but I feel like this was orchestrated. Like this was something that is part of your path, because you needed to learn how to stand up for yourself. You need to be able to use your voice. And I think that you're learning how to use your voice in a way that's effective. You know, like there's a difference between being whiny and naggy and being clear and speaking your truth and being heard. Do you know what I mean? And, you know, this card is coming up because I think some of you feel like you screwed up. Maybe you did the wrong thing, you pushed somebody away, but you didn't. This was part of your path. You were guided to do what you did. And part of why you were guided to do this is because you need to be really looking at where you're at right now through a lens of clarity and truth. And can you look at where you're at and honestly say that you are happy? If you can say that very truthfully and honestly, then go you, because I don't think many people can. And part of why this happened is because you're not truly happy. You are turning a blind eye to things that you shouldn't have been, and not speaking up for yourself, and not speaking your truth, and not standing in your power. And you were guided to do and say whatever you did, because happiness is your purpose, and this is going to get you there. The clarifying cards I pulled here, and honestly, like, I don't even know that we really needed them. We have the Dreamer, a leap of faith. This is going to, whatever this situation was for the divine feminine, this is something that's going to put you on the path to be able to follow your dreams. I feel like whatever this was unexpected. You didn't see it coming the way it came. It was not planned out. And I feel like so many of you are in like these uncharted waters and unknown territory, and I do feel a lot of fear from you that you're fearful to step forward into this unknown, because it's like a new chapter for you. You got to take that leap of faith, because that, again, like I said, this was all orchestrated, and you were guided to do what you did and take the steps that you took, because happiness is your purpose. And now you need to have faith and take that leap so that you can continue to go down that path towards your dreams. And the other card that came out was the King of Fire. And this card is a card of focus. And, this is also a card of communicating vision. So we have another card of communicating, but I feel like this is a different kind of communication. Now it's focus on what's ahead of you. what is it that you truly desire? What are your dreams? Focus on that. Communicate those things with the universe and take that leap, and it's going to take you closer to your purpose, the happiness that you're looking for. So for the masculine, we have green Terra. You know, and so as much as with the divine feminine, I feel like whatever happened with the divine feminine, this was some sort of intervention, so that they were guided and put on the right path. I feel like whatever's going on with the divine masculine, I feel like what happened with the divine feminine, this is a form of protection. The divine masculine is also being protected. And I feel like sometimes I feel like the masculine and the feminine, so often you're mirroring each other in terms of what's going on in your life, maybe not like the actual circumstances, but the main idea, because I feel like the divine masculine is feeling chaos. They're feeling out of control. And they're breaking out of this place where they've been very limited by their surroundings and environment, maybe the people who are around them. And they are moving beyond that. They are moving further down their path. But they need to take a leap of faith as well. They have to trust. They have to trust that they will be protected as they do that. Both the divine masculine and feminine are in a place where they need to have faith that things are going to work out in their best interest. The divine masculine, one of the meanings of the green Terra card is that cords are being cut. So just like with the divine feminine, the intervention it occurred in some sort of situation here, and I take that to mean that she's moving in a different direction from something. Cords are being cut for the divine masculine. So cords being cut, he's cutting his energy cords and protecting himself from situations and individuals as well. So it's very interesting. This is very, very similar. But with the clarifying card here, we have the 5 of fire. So, 5, we have that chaos, the change, the transition. And I think that there is confusion and nervousness for the divine masculine because he's constantly in this place of chaos and conflict with other people. And so I think that he's trying to, have the faith that he is protected as he makes, the cuts and moves away from this chaos in his life. And for some of you who are watching, I do feel like you might be feeling like your divine masculine is cutting you away. is moving on from you, or you feel like you're cutting your divine masculine away and you're moving on from him. And that's okay. Because right now you both need to focus on yourselves. And if you need to cut somebody out for a little bit, even your counterpart, that's okay. Granted, you're never actually, like, as much as I wish that you could, you're never able to actually cut yourself off energetically from a twin flame or a divine partner. But you can take your space and focus on yourself and do what you need to do for a period of time. So that's, for those of you that applies to, if that's what you need to do, just accept it and be where you are for right now. The energy of the union, 3 cards came out. We have Odin, which is psychic insight. We have Charity, which is prayer and contemplation. And then we have the Miriam, which is sacred vision. And the Miriam, I was, pleasantly surprised to see this card because in this deck, the Miriam is considered, they're twin flames. So it's kind of perfect going off of what I was just saying. So I'm going to talk about this card first. This card is about remembering that love has no boundaries. So if you are taking space and doing what you need to do, it's okay, because love has no boundaries. And, at some point, I think both, if you're one of the parties that's hurt and angry or whatever, whatever's going on here, at some point, you're going to have to choose to forgive in order to heal. So if there's anger, if there's resentment, if you have negative feelings towards the other, it's okay to feel them and process them and move through them. I don't think we serve ourselves if we deny those feelings because they're not of a high vibration. Just don't stay there. Eventually get to that place where you can forgive so that you can heal. And then, so with the other 2 cards, I feel like, I feel like all these cards are basically like emphasizing what I was briefly touching on before, is that ultimately this connection exists whether you want it to or not, in the 5D or in the spiritual planes, or however you want to see it. And so Odin is about psychic insight. You're seeing things with your third eye, seeing the truth for what it is, using your intuition. And Charity is about connecting with heaven, connecting with spirit. And so much of that is part of what this connection is about. So if you're in a place where things are difficult right now between you and your divine counterpart, your twin flame, whatever the label is, however you choose to define yourselves, try to get into this place if you can. This is where your higher selves are. Because I feel like there's a good number of you that are feeling like it's done, it's over, all is lost. But I feel like the union energy is that, no, it's, connect to spirit, connect to your intuition. You will see the truth for what it is. You will see that love has no boundaries. You will see that you have the sacred partnership. Now, the clarifying card is the 5 of Earth. And, being that this is an Earth card, this is telling me like, okay, so this is, the spiritual aspect, the 5D, what we don't see. This is what we see, what's happening in the 3D reality. And the reality, I think, is that both the masculine and the feminine that this applies to, nobody wants to take a step forward because they're afraid of rejection. They're afraid of being left out in the cold. I also feel like there are fears around money and being able to take care of yourselves. There's a lot of fear as to how is it going to work. And both parties are afraid of being left behind by the other. If the more you stay in this place, the more you focus on this, the more this is where you're gonna stay. So you have to let go of these fears. You have to move beyond these fears. And then the near future energy is Kali Ma, which I love. So I'm talking about letting go of fears, and facing your fear, or letting go of fears and moving on from this. And Kali Ma is all about facing your fears, and that's the near future energy. And Kali Ma is about both the divine masculine and divine feminine. There are major spiritual changes that are taking place. And I think, we've been talking about this for a long time. A ton of people in the spiritual community have been talking about the event. That's not a topic I'm going to talk about because honestly, I don't feel like I am well versed enough in it to talk about it. But things are changing on this planet. Things are happening. People are ascending and transforming, and I do think that many of you are going to be facing the fears that are holding you back. And the clarifying card here I love, it's balance, which is, I've talked to you about this before, is, we want to come to that place of being in balance and in harmony, balancing the masculine and feminine energy within ourselves, but then also balancing that energy with our divine partner. And that's, facing your fears is going to help with that. It's going to help with the cooperation and compromise that you've been looking for. This card is also about waiting for perfect timing. And I feel like there's something to this here about both parties gaining the wisdom of accepting the concept of perfect timing. For some of you, the perfect timing is going to come in, but I feel like for more of you, the concept of perfect timing and divine timing is going to be sitting better with you than it does currently. So this is the mini reading that I have for you guys. I hope that it resonated with you. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you resonate with this reading, if you like this reading and want some more, I'm going to be recording the extended version of this, where I'm going to go into more depth on the cards. I'm going to pull some more cards, and we're going to talk more about what's going on and see where things are headed for both the masculine and the feminine. Get some more development on what's going on here. And if you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe so you'll be notified when I upload my next video. Again, I'm offering the Twin Flame and relationship readings for only $55 this week, so please email me if that's something you're interested in. I'm also offering a pre-order sale on 6-month ahead readings for $77. If that's something you're interested in, send me an email for that. Information is in the description box below. Thank you so much for all of your comments, questions, likes. I read them all. I appreciate them all. I love you all so much. Thank you for your support. For those of you who will be joining me on Vimeo, I will see you there in a few minutes. For the rest of you, I will see you next week with the next energy reading. I hope you have a great week.